Today we're going to make a really simple wine press out of a 4-inch door hinge and some 2x6 lumber. If you've ever wanted to make wine from grapes, you might have got hung up by some of the equipment necessary. If you're just making it from a juice bucket, it's pretty simple. You don't need much. You need a bucket, a carboy, some pretty inexpensive stuff. But if you want to make wine from grapes, you need a crusher destemmer. That could cost $400 or $500. And the other big piece of equipment that you need is a wine press, which again, you're looking at, between $200 to on up to thousands of dollars, depending on how big of a press that you need. Well, I want to try to help you to be able to make wine if you just want to dabble in it without having to go to these juice kits, because if you want to make a good high quality red wine, you really need that grape skin contact, and you also want that seed contact, and you just don't get that from the juices. So I've previously made a video about how to crush and destem with a milk crate. So that's kind of one hack to kind of get you started if you're just dabbling your feet into it. And today we're going to show you how to make a little makeshift wine press, and you're going to make it out of just simply a door hinge and a piece of 2x6 lumber. So really not a lot of money involved in this, and it'll get you started. If you're only making something like 100 pounds of grapes or even up to something like 200 pounds of grapes, this will be enough to get you through your first year or so of making wine. So here, we'll go over to the workshop and we'll get started on this little simple project. We're going to take our 2x6 and we're going to cut 2 3-foot sections out of it. Using the screws provided with the door hinge, we're just going to go ahead and attach it to the 2x6. And you don't have to get really very fancy here. I'm not going to recess it in or anything. So now we've got our hinged set of 2x6s, and you can see just how much leverage you're going to have if you put something right here and how much you can really squeeze it. I've gone ahead and put some plastic wrap around the area where I'm going to be putting the grapes normally, just so that, my pine wood here isn't really leaching into the wine. Now, a real wine press, if it's a basket press, is usually made from white oak. So if you can make your little makeshift press out of white oak, that'd be great. And honestly, you probably could skip the plastic wrap step, but this will just help to keep things clean too. Now, since grapes are not yet in season, I'm just going to demonstrate this press using some navel oranges. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to load whatever we want to press into a cheesecloth bag. Then you just shake it down to the bottom, and imagine this is a bunch of grapes. A lot of juice is going to start already flowing out of these because you've always crushed your grapes before you press them. And you can hang this bag from the ceiling, but if you got some help, you're better off just having somebody hold it while you operate the little lever style press here. So we'll just put our little press over the top of our bowl, and normally this would be something like a bucket, so it wouldn't be so wobbly like this. Then I'll just have my assistant put the bag of oranges in, and we can just start to give it a little squeeze. We squeezed all the juice out of the oranges, and it worked pretty good. If there was one thing I would change about this setup, is I'd probably use a little bit of a wider board, like a 2x10 or a 2x12, and that would just help you kind of contain the sides of the bag as you're squeezing. But if you've ever pressed grapes, there's just so much juice that flies out of them. You're really not trying to squeeze them bone dry. You're just trying to get the majority of that juice out. So I think this hinge style setup will work pretty well. If you do give it a try, or if you do make any modifications to it, make sure to let me know in the comments, and hopefully we can come up with a pretty cool solution to help people make wine at home without having all this expensive equipment. If you like my videos, make sure to click the little subscribe button and the bell for notifications, and be sure to check out my website, smartwinemaking.com. Stay tuned for the wine season, and I'll give this press a try with some actual grapes. Thanks for watching.